There we go.
Yeah. Oh, yay.
How are we doing? See? First time, and it's first time spot on.
That's how the one bait do it.
Right. So how you been today? All right?
Yeah, been busy, mate. Been busy. Took the dog for a walk today around the lake where I've been baiting.
The one bait mascot.
And he decided to do a little runner, so I'm running around with a throwing stick in my hand, chasing after a sausage dog, mate, around a lake. So yeah, quite fun. The problem is, Dan, if you're anything like me, when I get to the lake, I seem to be there a lot longer than I should be. I've got a naughty dog tonight, mate, so hopefully he's not going to be too much of a hindrance.
Oh, there's the mascot. What's his name?
Rex.
Rex.
Because he's got dinosaur feet like a T-Rex.
So his little arms, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. But tonight, I don't know why.
He's on one tonight.
He's on one, so hopefully...
we do better deals, like, for 10 kilos, don't we? As opposed if you just brought, like, a kilo. Like, there's always deals for bigger quantities, like 10 kilos, so...
Yeah. No, that's perfect.
We've worked very hard with it. As you can see, Dan, we've worked very hard with it. We've not just got a few ingredients and banged it together, a few flavours. It's not like... Well, you're an angler, you know when you see a good bait, and... yeah, it's been painful to get it right.
Well, I think that's part of the love of doing it as well, to actually come out with a product like that and say, wow, do you know what? We really made this work. This one, you know, and I've seen through all your catch reports and all the stuff on social media, you know, I can't fault you. I cannot fault it at all. So...
Don't get me wrong, we've had some sleepless nights, haven't we?
Yeah, and a lot of arguments along the way, but you know.
That's why Zoe's really good at the business side of it, because
if anything's worth having, you've got to work hard for it, right?
And it's got to be right.
Yeah.
And
yeah, definitely.
Work hard. Like, you know, this is not our sole job. Like, we've got day jobs, both of us. So this is all happening in the evenings, all weekends, like. Any free time we have, it is the one bait.
Zoe's given up a lot for me to do this. That's the thing. She's given up away.
I've got to be honest with you, Dan. You know, it does help having a good lady behind you. Yeah, my partner's exactly the same. You know, she's been brilliant with everything. Any project which I undertake or anything which I want to do, she will always support me. Yeah. You know, and you know she's got a busy life of sort of like looking after, you know, my son, as I mentioned to you, you know, my autistic son, you know, he has his needs. I've got a 3-year-old daughter. She's 100 miles an hour, right? And then she's got me, who's also a big kid at the age of 43, and you know she's got to keep me in check as well. You know, we're
the same age.
Yeah, I'm 43, Dan, so that's a snap.
Right then, guys, we got a few in now. So, guys, welcome to the great debate. We have the Posh and Becks of the bait world, the power couple of the one bait, Zoe and Dan. Or should it be Dan and Zoe? You know, who's the boss here, guys?
That's.
We all know who the boss is. Come on.
Zoe's definitely the boss, mate, and I would say so, yes. There's a point now, isn't there? There's a point where I give her the look and then I turn back to be the boss.
Yeah.
Right, so guys, Dan and Zoe kindly do a giveaway tonight. If you'd like to tell us what it is, guys.
Yes, we've got 1 kilo of the Pacific Pulse boilies, 1 kilo of the Creme Atlantis boilies, and then our exclusive pop-ups that we've only made for our team members. So they will not be sold. So it's an exclusive. So yeah.
And obviously the person, whoever wins it, can say if they want the 20 mils or the 15 mil version. Just let us know, and I can give them whichever one they want.
So, right, guys, let's get into how the Wombait all came about.
You want to tell the story, darling?
Well, it's been in the making for a long, long time. And let me tell you, Dan, my kitchen has been a laboratory for years and years. So I can tell you, I'm so glad we have a premises at this point. But yeah, obviously busy lives. You know, Dan's a gas engineer by trade, so he's busy. And I think the icing on the cake was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, I felt ill. I was just working flat out. My fishing was affected. Everything was being affected, home life. And I just said to Zoe, I said, do you know what? If I don't have a go at this bait company now,
You never will.
I'm never going to do it.
And it's been in the making for years. But you know, when you just don't have the courage to just say, right, I'm going to do it. And then Dan was ill over the Christmas period.
I picked up my bait books.
He was on call. He was on call, and he was just being called out left, right, and centre, like Coventry. He'd get home, and then he'd be called out again. But there was no one to pick up his shifts, so he ran himself into the ground basically. And then he got home, and the next day he said, "I'm starting a bait company." I was like, "Okay, does that mean my kitchen's not going to be a laboratory?"
One of the things I said is, how much savings we got?
Yeah, because let me tell you, it's not been cheap.
It's not. We've literally, I thought if we're going to start it, we have to do it. There's no point half-heartedly doing this. We need to get the machines in. There's no point rolling by hand. We're never going to be able to produce what we want to produce. And so, yeah, we ended up buying the machines from Italy. So since Brexit, like the customs charges.
Honestly.
So we got nailed with that. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened, mate, to be fair. I literally just turned around one day and said, I'm doing this.
So that's a massive, massive commitment. That is, I mean, I can understand why. You know, at the end of the day, if you're being pushed from pillar to post with your work and everything else, you've ran yourself into the ground. Basically, you're making someone else money.
Yeah.
You know, it got to a stage where you were like, yeah, I think this is worth the gamble. Did you find that when you actually made that gamble, did you find that that family life probably settled down a little bit more and was probably a little bit better?
I don't think so, mate, because to be fair, I threw myself into something else.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
There's another thing added to the equation.
There will be a point where that will obviously sort itself out. Yeah. But I then put myself in a situation where I've got a bit of OCD. Anyone that's watching, any boys that know me, everything has to be right. I'm not a 99.9% guy. So when I set this up, when we were running the baits, we were testing the baits, the breakdowns, everything like that. If it wasn't right, straight back to the drawing board again, and we were messing around with other things. So probably not, mate, to be fair.
So from your idea of the bait which you wanted to do, to turning out the product which you have now, how long did that take, and what sort of process did you go through for that?
So I already had a bait in mind. A good friend of mine used to roll it up in the Cotswolds, and he stopped rolling it. But this bait that he did was fantastic. So when he stopped rolling that, I had to go and search for a different company. But that bait was always back in the back of my head. Obviously, I wanted to make it into my own. I didn't know all the ingredients that went into that bait. But all the years I fished using, I don't know, like dynamite sauce, stuff like that, I've picked everything from all the good baits I've ever used and put that into one.
Yeah. See, I like what you just brought up there about dynamite sauce. Now, you don't hear many people actually mention dynamite, the sauce as a bait, or the crave as a bait, because it's all sticky, mainline, DNA, this, that, and everything else. But those two were two of the classic baits, and they were made by one man who was an absolute genius, or they were created by one man, which is absolute genius.
Yeah, exactly right. I think it has changed over the period of time. Obviously, I don't know ingredients, you can't get this, can't get that, but I remember when that first ever come out years ago, that was something that I used, and I probably would still use it today if it was the same, obviously. But now we've got the pulse out now, which again is picked some of them ingredients out of that to make what we've got today.
So while all this was going on, Zoe, were you sort of like getting your hands dirty involved in that, or were you sort of like guiding the business, or where?
Everything, like from doing the dry mixes to running the machines, like quite literally getting my hands dirty, which, to be perfectly honest, is a shock because I'm so girly. And I mean, when we were making the booster spray, like I spilt some on my hand as I was like bottling it up, and I couldn't get it off my hands for 3 days. Monster crab.
It's quite bad, Dan, because if something happens to me tomorrow and Zoe had to run our business on her own, she could do it.
Yeah, I could.
She can do everything. She's learnt it all. And I'll be very surprised if there's many people out there that can say that their wife can run that business without them being there.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive, actually. So, Zoe, do you actually go fishing yourself as well, or?
Zoe she is the camera woman.
Right.
She is the camera woman. Zoe has done some fishing. We have got plans this year to get Zoe out.
Hoping to go to, is it Coles Fishery?
Yeah,
that's where I really want to go.
We're going to book some places.
I have rods.
She has rods, she has reels, she has alarms. But obviously, where we've got a family, we've got a busy life, mate. If Zoe was fishing with me 24/7, we wouldn't have no house left.
Yeah. She's cooking in the cleaner.
Yeah, like I said, you guys sound like you're full on. You know, that's 100 miles an hour. Is that, and it's got to be like 7 days a week, surely, especially with sort of like your day jobs and everything else. And how do you find the balance?
Well, we're just kind of
we're not trying. We're
trying to figure it out.
We're trying to figure it out. Do you know, we might only have a couple of hours with each other, but we make it. We take the dog for a walk. We have a chat. Sometimes we don't talk about the business. We have to have that little break.
Yeah, you need to have the break from it.
It's got to be like
but then we probably get in the car and then we start talking about different things like we always do. But yeah, so we definitely try. And I'm when the business gets to a point where it needs to be, then we can throttle off a little bit. But we're pushing so much with it because we want to get it out there.
Yeah. So how long has the shop been open, or the place?
It opened on April 1st, 2025.
Yeah, April 1st.
So we moved into our first premises. We were there for 16 weeks.
Not long.
We were there for 16 weeks and we got kicked out for the smell.
Yeah, we got removed, which was a big shame because they pretty much nearly put us in the ground, to be fair. There's lots of charges when you leave your unit, but even though we wasn't leaving it, we were being removed, we still had to pay them.
Anyway, that's by the by, but we started, at that unit, and sadly we weren't able to stay, which, was really sad because they were fully aware of what our business was. And anyway, we've got a new premises now.
This is where Zoe does her thing. Literally, when we got given our notice, Zoe was out. She wasn't just ringing, she was out in her car trying to find somewhere, and she found a new unit within 2 days.
When you were fishing in France?
When I was fishing in France. 2
Dad
days.
was in France fishing.
She got a new unit sorted, signed and sealed. That's why she's the one.
So, I mean, it hasn't been straightforward for you guys at all. You haven't sort of like gone, oh, right, I've got this idea, we've got the business mind behind it, I've got the practical stuff, and then you start putting it all together. You guys have gone through some massive hurdles very, very early, which would have crippled most businesses.
I think most bait companies out there have probably gone through something similar at some point, because obviously the smells that you give off, sadly, people don't like it, do they? If you're a carp angler, you love it. But if you're a car salesman or something like that, and you've got a unit next to him, you're not going to like it. So I think
our new premises.
Our new premises is great. I love it.
It's really nice. It's not as nice as what we had. Like it was, the other place was
better.
Quite posh, but this one's more like a farm on a barn, and it's closer to home. Literally, it's 5-minute walk if you wanted to walk it. So it's cheaper as well.
And the boys love it. They say it's more rustic. We like it down here. We didn't like the other one. It was too new.
Yeah, it's true.
I think that's part of the romance of carp fishing, isn't it? The rusticness, the outdoorsiness, that sort of stuff, the smell and everything. It all creates an atmosphere which, is carp fishing. Do you know what I mean?
And that's it. But sadly, it doesn't mix with other people, does it? Sadly.
No. Now we can get on to a bit of your fishing. Yeah.
Yes,
so when did it all start for you?
I was a real young boy. I was telling Zoe that I remember being about 7 years old. My granddad was really into his shooting and stuff like that, but he quite liked to trout fishing. So he took me trout fishing. And obviously, as you know, when you have to pay, you get your free fish, and you have to leave the lake.
I love this story. This is so funny.
So obviously, he's taking me, and I'm loving it, mate. I am loving it. I'm catching them. We caught about 25. We got kicked out in the end because Grandad got caught putting them all back. So that is where it kind of started from. My Grandad kind of showed me the outdoors, and I just got a love of it. And from then, I had no one to teach me, so I had to go and do it myself. My dad was into his rugby. He was not an angler. And I ended up going down to Little River then with Cheese, catching trout, catching eels. And I'm a young boy, I'm like 10 at this point. And then I got given the option to go to a place called Lydney Lake. I don't know if you know where that is. It's in the Forest of Dean.
It's just up the road from me. It's probably only about 40 minutes away, something like that.
Yeah. So obviously, being originally that's where I was from, was the forest. So I spent a lot of time fishing that area. And I ended up going to Lydney Lake. And loved it, mate. I caught my first carp. I've actually still got my original Daiwa Seal Star rod in the shed. My first ever rod. I've still got it. And I caught, I think it was £12. And then that was it. The carp fishing, I was alive. 12, 13, 14, 15. I ended up catching a fish out there called Karma at £22 out of such a young age. And then went on to catch the big one in there in 2006 at £38. So, yeah. But in the meantime of that, I was going to the Cotswolds. I had a brief ticket on Wellington Country Park. That was very, very interesting. A very young lad, 19, turned up at Wellington Country Park. A bit undergunned, if I'm being honest. But ended up catching some real big ones and blew my mind. What I did end up catching from there. Went to a place then called Wick Water at the Cotswolds and had the Long Common. And then went to May Bridge, Bradley's. Spent a hell of a lot of time fishing at the Cotswold, mate. It's the place to be now. I love it up there.
So you've actually, because we had a brief chat on the phone, didn't we? And you've actually caught some pretty prestigious fish as well, haven't you?
I have.
You're up there with a lot of the sponsored anglers, top anglers, that sort of stuff, but you've gone out and done it yourself.
I would like... Yeah, I suppose so. Sadly, my problem is I haven't got the time now to chase these big ones, which I really want to do. But I've been lucky to catch some of the real pristine fish that I have. Like Wellington Country Park kind of ruined me for a little bit, if I'm being honest. I caught so many big ones from there. So many. It was just like ridiculous. And then when you go there and you catch a 30-pounder, it's kind of, it's only £30. You know what I'm saying? You kind of got to settle yourself back down. But yeah, I've been lucky. I think my fishing now has gone to the point where if I go fishing, if I get one bite a year, it's got to be something I really want. It doesn't have to be £40, it doesn't have to be £50, but it has to be something special.
You know what I'd put in as a target angler? Yeah, you find the fish which you really want. It looks amazing, or it's its biggest weight there's been in 10 years or so. You become a target angler, yes?
It's got to have something about it. It's not just the size. It's got to be... it's got a bit of a story. It's not something that's been stocked in the lake 2 years and suddenly now it's gone to £40 or whatever. It's got to have that little bit of... It's gone through the floods. It's gone through... I don't know, otter attacks, or it's got something about it, and that's what my fishing's all about now.
Yeah,
finding special ones, and it's difficult to do that now, though, Dan, because
with the lack of time as well.
Like the lake that's down the road from me is a very, very big pit with I think 7 carp in it, and I have caught all of them, but sadly the one was foul looked. So
so if tell me why a fish becomes a target. Is it the shape of the head, the colours, the scale pattern? Is it?
Let's probably, I suppose, as you know, at the minute I'm trying to chase the croc. It's been on my radar, and it's probably beat me up a little bit, to be fair. But that fish has got everything about it. The size of its head, the scales on it. I know that fish is probably 50 years old. It does 2 bites of the year. It's just, you look at it on the bank. When you see it on the bank, it just blows my mind. Like, and when I catch it, honestly, everybody's going to know, because that fish is just phenomenal.
We think you caught it.
I had a bite in November, which it didn't get caught in November. It usually does a November capture. sadly,
No biting.
it either weeded me up or put me on a buoy out in the lake. I don't know, mate. I was there that long with the rod in my hand. I had sweat coming down, and something kicked out. I reeled it in. Even the hook was sharp, and on there, that's a surprise. So we never know now.
Because Scott Lloyd's had that one as well, hasn't he?
Yes.
A few of them have, but I do remember the Scott Lloyd capture of it, and I watched that because that water has also got a lot of crayfish as well. Am I right?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, if I'm being honest. I've fished many waters of crayfish, and I think anyone that's been on to Lake 32, Large Lake, will honestly say it's the worst place in the world. If you was to flavour a plastic hook bait with obviously the Pulse flavour, by the morning, mate, they've ripped the top off a plastic hook bait. I've gone out in a boat. I know you're not meant to, but I've gone out in a boat to look at my spot one night, and I'll never do it again. Because literally on the floor, it was moving like that, and I couldn't see my hook bait, but I knew it was on a clear spot. So yeah, you've got to fish. You can't fish braided hook links. They cut through it. Any tungsten putty, they will literally take it off. Any beads on your hooks, gone. Your hook's blunt, honestly, within 5 hours. If them crays turn up on you, your hook's blunt. The maddest thing is, though, if the fish are on you, the crays are not there.
Right.
So, and I spent a whole season, some of the lads will know this, we're fishing one rod, Dan. I fished one rod up the top corner, only because I was fishing a really clear clay spot, but it's next to some ropes. So if I was to try and put 2 rods on it, it would be too much. But when I hit the clip, I had to hit the clip absolutely perfect, or I'm over the ropes and then I'm cracking off. I actually kept the lead on as well for that one reason. So when I got the bite, I could keep the fish underneath it instead of dropping the lead and the fish coming up. And I landed every fish that I hooked. I had 7 bites from that area and landed every single one.
So, yeah, Zoe, so this one's for you. When he finds a target, yeah, what's he like?
Well, you probably heard early on in this podcast about him saying he has OCD.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, like when he's got it in his head, it turns from a hobby to an obsession. And I'm sure any angler would probably relate to that. I'm sure you can. If you have a target fish, like you went for a weekend once and I didn't see him for 7 days. Yeah.
I shouldn't laugh because
the thing was, we were moving. We were moving.
Never.
And he just was so tunnel vision.
It's bad. It's a bad trait to have, and I don't suggest anyone to do it. But when you're on a place like that and the fish are showing on you, you can't go home. I actually caught,
and it was worth it because actually he did catch a
I
patch.
did. Yeah, I did actually catch. Yeah,
So I mean, in the run up to it all, obviously you've got that obsession there. You're focused. You're beeline for it and everything else. What is the celebration like when he actually catches a fish? When he actually catches the fish he wants?
Oh, I've got a happy husband for at least a month. That boy does not.
Does he shower you in gifts and everything else?
I used to.
Yeah.
I can't at the minute.
We have no disposable income anymore.
It's all in the one bait, isn't it?
Yeah,
all in the one bait.
Quite literally.
See,
but it's all good. It's all, like the one bait has been produced for the love of the sport. Would you call it a sport? It's a sport, isn't it? And it's so person-centered. Like a lot of the big companies, they would never have a conversation with a customer, would they? Whereas Dan will get on the phone. Like there's been multiple occasions now.
It is, where people's been in the unit.
Where somebody's placed an order and actually Dan's given them a call and just said, just have a chat and make sure they're okay with, for example, like a bank holiday. When there's been a bank holiday, there was a delay and Dan will just call that customer and they actually made a comment. He might be watching, Jake Lewis, he might be watching, and he called and he said how nice it was to hear from the boss. Yeah. And that's what we strive for.
It's what we strive for. A lot of the boys come in the unit and they love that they can get to talk to us. Yeah. Because they know that I'm obviously the angler behind it, I suppose, but they all know it's us as a team. They always ask, how's Zoe, if Zoe's not at the unit.
No, they don't. They say, how's the boss?
Well, yeah.
See, this
They
is the
know.
boss thing coming out again, isn't it?
They know.
No,
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant. And once again, it's another reason why I'm trying to do this with the Great Debate and pull focus to the independent manufacturers and brands, because people need to know about yourselves. It's personal. It becomes a community, becomes something close as well. I've met so many people through doing this. It's been fantastic because it's also helped with my angling and everything else. But the way that you guys have come across, I mean, when you sent me that package, a little note in there, that was so personal. Yeah, that was nice, and
even though it's you, Dan, but we do that to every single customer that buys bait. We always put a little note in, just something like exactly what you got. Good luck. Thanks to Dan and Zoe. It's just because if someone's gone out their way to place an order for our bait, it's just something very small back from us saying good luck, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, that's brilliant. That is.
We're so kind as well, probably too kind, because we're often like, if there's like a new customer and they've placed an order, we always chuck some freebies.
Yeah,
and we do it all the time. And we're like, we look at each other sometimes. We're like, look, we need to stop this. Like, we're trying to run a business. But this is what I mean. It is so person centered, and we care so deeply for the sport and for the customers.
Yeah.
And that is what we're trying to do.
Well, that's it. And this is why this bait we've produced the pulse. I honestly, this is why the company is called the One Bait. In my opinion, I don't see a need for another bait. It's going to catch. I can't wait for this year to see what it's going to do.
It's already done.
I know it's already done amazing things, but last year when we first set the business up, it was like we weren't really only the people that knew me knew. And I'm very excited to see where it's going to be. I'm sure it's going to put some named fish on the banger this year. The croc, I'm pretty sure, will be one of them.
Oh, you're positive about that one. I bet Zoe's just like, oh, will you please catch it? Let's get the croc over and done with.
I don't know about.
Yeah, quite honestly, I am so done with hearing croc.
I'm sure, same as you, Dan. I'm sure a lot of the people listening to this. Fishing probably doesn't leave. You're always thinking about it. If you're going to the lake on the Friday, I can guarantee Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're thinking about the fishing, and that's exactly. I go to bed thinking about it, mate. Same as all the lads, including yourself, I'm sure.
No, I'm pretty fanatical myself with angling, and I've sort of like got my daughter into it as well, which is even better because now she's driving me on, and there is something about angling, and when you've had a real shite week, a real bad week, and that you can just have that hour or two on the bank, or even a weekend in that solitude, it resets you completely.
A lot of our customers have said it's almost like therapy. Like they can be having so many things going on in their life, and then just go into the bank on their own. It just sorts their heads out, and that's amazing. For your mental health, because let's be real, mental health is a real thing.
Yeah, it is. And I think, but going back to all the lads that's used the bait, like the team we've got behind us, I'm sure the boys that are listening now, they've been brilliant. Do you know what I mean? They've gone out, they've caught fish, and I can't thank them all for what they've done. We've got
one of our very first customers, Tom.
Yeah, Tom.
He's actually one of our neighbours, but he's one of the first customers that came to us. And he was having such a hard time. He'd been blanking for 14 months, he was just about to give up the sport. Like, he was done. And then he switched to the One Bait, and he's caught how many PBs? He caught
all the late big ones in a very. I don't know if Tom's on here, if he can put on how long it took him. But it's
6 months, wasn't it, Tom?
6 months, I think it took him to go from catching nothing.
Yeah.
And then to suddenly go and catch all of them. And I think the bait's just part of it, though. You still got to be putting it in the right place. You still got to be using your watercraft. But what I think the poles can do, when you caught, it gives you that confidence.
Yeah.
And I think confidence in fishing's massive. If you've got confidence, it's dangerous, isn't it? If you go into the lake with your confidence, you're on it, no matter what's going on. But if you go into a lake without your confidence, you're already doomed.
He caught 3 of his PBs on the bait as
Yeah.
well.
So that stuff
And
like
then-
that.
And then Callum, he caught his PB on the
Yeah,
bait.
John caught one well further. Like,
£35.
I
He
know.
was, yeah. So there's been a lot of PBs in
We had-
such a short period of time, in like a 6-month period.
like Richie Sykes, his ticket was just about to run out. I think we already had this conversation, and
Yeah.
he caught the fish that he's not been able to catch.
He's caught
And
all the fish in the
he's caught
syndicate.
all of them multiple times. So this one fish,
And we're like proud parents.
yeah, I am.
When we get the catch reports, fucking hell, me and Dan are like, oh my God, yay, we're just so happy.
And that's
It's
what
such a feeling, I can't even describe it.
And sadly, I don't know if fishing is like that. I remember the days, Dan, you're the same age as me. You know, if someone catches the biggest fish in the lake, you'd reel in and go around and take the pictures.
Yeah.
Sadly, I don't
Yeah.
know if it's like that as it used to be. I don't know.
No,
that's-
do you think that carp fishing has now become quite toxic and competitive?
I think it can
Uh-huh.
be. I think it definitely can be. I think there's people.
Yeah.
Obviously, I hope I don't come across wrong by saying this. Some people can get jealous, maybe of someone catching a certain fish. But then
Yeah.
I don't know if someone's been
I've
putting.
got to say, like, from an outsider looking in, and I run all the social media, so I do everything. And I have actually said to you, like, it is very clicky. I have seen it firsthand. I'm like, whoa. Like, not in every scenario, but you do come across it. And it, as a woman, that kind of shocks me a little bit, because that's normally like a woman's area.
But I think there's only a very small amount of people that are like that, though, Dan. I
Yeah,
think
of course, it's a small minority.
small
for
number
sure.
of people that there's always someone that's going to ruin something. But
Yeah.
I do think carp fishing has changed with social media massively. Yeah, I do.
because you're old school, Dan, aren't you? In terms
Yeah,
of like,
I was never on social media before this.
yeah,
Never.
He's old school. Like, he'd get a capture, and you know, it would be like his close mates, and they talk about it. But now it's like everywhere, isn't
Yeah.
it? Which, as a business, that's great for us now.
Yeah.
Yeah, from a business point of view, you do need that social media and that outlet, the advertising, let's say.
Yeah, definitely.
But for someone like Dan and myself,
Yeah.
now I like fishing very quiet pools or hidden mountain pools. I've sent you one, haven't I, Dan? And it's like
I've already been looking at it, mate. I've already been looking at it.
that kind of that stays within a small circle, and you just don't want to advertise it, because you don't want to break your own piece. You don't want anybody else there to ruin it. So any captures which you do get don't go on social media, so you haven't got everybody celebrating or everybody jumping on it. And I think a lot of these bigger fish, let's take the Burfield Common, right?
Yeah.
That fish has been hammered. Yeah? Everybody wants to catch it. Everybody goes and it targets. Do you not think that puts the fish under more stress?
I think everyone's always trying to do something. If you go back to Burfield Common, I think everyone's always trying to do something that no one's done. Remember Greg Ellis caught it behind the back of the island, which, yeah, obviously he shouldn't be out there, but I think that's a great capture in my opinion.
So what's the future for Wombait? Where do you want it to be, let's say, in 5 years?
I would like it to. I don't want it to. The weirdest thing is, I don't want it to be big. I think Zoe will tell me off for saying this. I want it to be. I want it to be big-ish.
You want it to be thriving, but low level enough to maintain that person-centered customer focus that we've currently got.
Because if you think,
because we're not in it to be millionaires, we're not in it to make loads and loads of money. Like, yeah, okay, we want to make money, we want to make ends meet and get some extra, but again, I have to emphasize when I say it is just for the love of fishing.
And I think if you've got everyone on one lake and they're all fishing with the Pulse or the Creme Atlantics, for example, it's not going to be as great, is it?
No.
So I think all I want to achieve from it is be respected within the fishing world for doing the Pulse. That's one of the things that I really thrive for.
Which I think you've got anyway, Dan.
I think
Dan
so.
is a likeable guy. Anyone that comes into contact and meets Dan, he's so likeable. And I think if you've got that, as well as a good product, then you're onto a winner. Let's be real.
Yeah. Well, it was like when he dropped me a call a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? And next thing we know, we'd been on the phone for like 43 minutes talking about fishing and everything, like we'd known each other for years. You know, it was
dinner time.
Yeah.
He does this to me all the time. He's always on the phone to someone.
Oh, brilliant! Oh, guys, I tell you what, I love your story. This is one which I've really been looking forward to, right? And you guys are absolutely lovely people, and the prize which you've put up, right, is amazing.
I tell you what, while we've got time, Dan, there is a capture which I kind of missed actually.
Come on then, let's go on.
I got given 20. Obviously, I work for a big energy company, so I do a lot of the free phase and gas. And what that means is I go to some of these very hot
like
big mansions, and some of these big mansions might have a lake on there. And there's just one lake I do know in Gloucester, and when the job dropped on, so I get a little tablet, tells you where my jobs are. When the job dropped on, I'm like, oh my god, I've got access into this. I'm going to speak to the main guy. Happy days. So I got given the job to go and do it. So yeah, started speaking to him, shut me down straight away when I did ask for it.
He was like quite abrupt, like don't want to talk, don't touch the Bentley.
He
was working quite close to the Bentley,
which was like 300 grand or something. Yeah. So we ended up getting talking. He had a trout farm or a stream or something, and he was struggling to get bites. So I said, have you tried bouncing, worm bouncing? Obviously I explained to him what to do, put a little weight on, hook, it's not hard, just bounce it down the stream. And when I left, he said, what's your name and address, Dan? And I said, well, I've just told you my name. He said, yeah, well, I've got to write it down so I can give it to security. He said, I'll give you 24 hours to fish the lake this Saturday. I'm like, oh.
And it's a prestigious lake, you know, it's like, it's not fished at all. But everybody from the area and probably beyond would know what's in that lake.
So I do know of a 40 pounder, but I didn't know if it was in there anymore. So when I got there in the morning, had a walk around. I walked around this lake, Dan, honestly, 1,000 times. I know
this was in the summer.
I know this sounds crazy, but at least 1,000 times. Trying to see this, I couldn't see it. I was thinking, I saw all of the fish that was in there, 18, 19 pound commons, quite a few of them, but this fish I just didn't see. And I got up a tree next to a boathouse. I had a little clearing between these pads. And it's a shame I couldn't add a picture to show how there's so many pads in this lake. And this fish come out of their water and just moved across like really slow. You know, when they just moved, that water drops. So, and I was like, yeah, there it is. So on the flip side of that, I was panicking to think these fish have not been fished for. Do I take boilies or do I go down a natural route? Because if they've not been fished for, they might not even know what a boilie is. So in the end, obviously, I took the pulse with me.
Of course, you had to. Be rude not to.
So what I thought I'd do, I'm walking around the lake. This fish is moved over this spot. I didn't know what was on the bottom. I didn't want to let about. So I ended up putting 2 kilos of bait on 2 kilos of pulse there and just kept on walking the lake. And as I'm walking around, I can see this spot like proper, like fizzing up, like bad. And I've gone round again and it's fizzed up. And I thought, I've got to put a rod on it. So I've literally put the rod out. I had a little inch stiff rig out, very small one. Flipped it out, then I've turned around, it's gone off, the rod's gone off in my hand. And the fight from there on was something I'll never ever be able to do again. If Zoe was there, she would have killed me. This fish has flat rodded me, and I've just realised I've only got 12 pounds. I think it's GR60, Gardner GR60 on. And it's flat rodded me and flat rodded me and flat rodded me. And I mean, normally on a lake that's quite clear, not a problem at all. This is full of pads. I mean, full of pads. So I'm hitting it, and as I'm trying to stop this fish, it's bowling right down the bottom. I thought, right, I've got to get in. So I've literally grabbed the landing net, pulled it over my head, jumped in the lake. You've got to remember, this is on a multi-million-pound estate. So I've literally come down, and I've actually got to the point where I can't do nothing with the rod. I can't get nothing through the rod, so I've had to bite the line. So I've bit the line at this point, pulled all through all the pads, got to the other side, and I've got all this line in my hand, so I've literally pulled it through, back-to-back grinner knotted on, just reeled it onto the reel, and the fish has only gone and done it again, gone out the other side, and now I've got a back-to-back grinner knot on the line whilst it's holding up there. Oh, mate, So I ended up, thankfully, getting to the fish.
The moral of the story, he caught the fish in 24 hours. Boom, job done,
But I
bye-bye.
snapped my rod.
Yeah.
I snapped the rod there. Because when I got to the fish, thankfully, I've moved that much pads. This fish just went round in circles for about, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes. I could feel its tail smacking my feet. So then the waders on. and literally, I've gone...
We've got so many stories.
The rod tip snapped. And then when I've gone to push the net in, because all the pads, it's snapped as well. But yeah, I've got it in the net, mate, and it was £40 10 ounce. So
yeah,
that was...
was it worth getting wet for? Was it worth breaking your rod for?
100%. And I didn't go home. Zoe said, "You coming home?" I said, "Well, I don't know what's left in it now after catching that one." So I did the night and had 29 bites.
This was how many hours in? 4.
4 hours,
4 hours.
I had 29 bites, biggest fish. The biggest one was that £40
But we've got so many stories, like funny stories, like when he was fishing at the Cotswolds for the crop this one night. He rings me, it's like 9 o'clock. He's like, "So," he said, "you're going to have to come up now." I'm like, "Why? What's wrong?" Only climbed a tree trying to find the best spot, foul in the water.
In a pair of waders, mate. Don't come with a pair of waders on.
Yeah. There's so many. I could sit here all night and tell you so many funny stories like that one, but sadly we don't have the time. And you'd all get bored.
And you went all the way out. You went all the way to go take him his clothes and everything.
Yeah, plus a green Thai curry that I'd cooked.
Yeah, it was banging. Yeah, so I'm quite glad I fell out the tree.
Yeah.
Mate, you got a good in there. My missus would tell me to walk home or freeze.
Yeah, I know, mate. I know.
I couldn't leave him. He was so wet. He had no spare clothes.
I was actually in my work clothes. It was a quick overnighter from work.
So going back to the story about the pads and everything, right? And you said these fish hadn't been fished for, and you were using the pulse, yeah, the Pacific pulse and everything. Surely that at that point that should have given you so much confidence to know this works, because the obviously the feeding stimulants and everything else which you are using to get fish which have never even seen a boilie before.
Yeah, and
to
I think
feed heavy.
I think that's why I was not panicking, because I know that this place, I knew I only had 24 hours. I was never going to get another chance. So, and that's the only reason I was thinking not the pulse or not boilies at all, because I didn't know if he'd see it. But yeah, when I put it in, and I had by the morning, like I said, I had 29 bites.
Yeah.
And that relayed back to me all the ingredients that go into the bait.
Yeah.
I've looked at, and you might, a lot of lads, bait companies out there might laugh, but I've had a look at like anti-inflammatories, like the different ingredients that an anti-inflammatory can give off. Obviously, most old fish out there, it's like me and you, we get old, things hurt. Do you know what I mean? I know this.
What do you mean get? My knees have gone.
That's how my mind thinks, just trying to put in these ingredients. You look at looking at inflammatories, you can sardine, anchovies, there's a lot of different flavour, and that's where the pulse is. I've thought about it that way as well. So did that make a difference? I don't know, but possibly.
So it's also looking at the health benefits as well as the feed benefits and everything else.
It's HMV bait, so it's got all the great ingredients in it. It's not just a standard bait with some flavour in it. I'm not saying people do that, but obviously you can make a bait like that and it will probably work. But what good is it going to do for the carp? Not really a lot. But the ingredients that go into the pulse is, well, as you know, you've had it all over you before, stinking. There's a lot of low temp.
Am I allowed to say this?
There's
11.
12.
12, sorry. There's 12 different ingredients that go into the pulse.
And that's not including the flavourings,
So when I make a 5k mix, I've got it. I have like 10 tubs now, and I just do it all in. So I don't want to be doing one at a time. So I try and find the quickest way possible to do everything.
Wow.
So
I
think...
Is there not that almost like a panic there where, because you have so many components of this bait, that, oh my God, what happens if this one discontinues, or what if there's a short...
We
actually had it happen with one of the flavours that I could get hold of. Thankfully, I've managed to locate it now. But yeah, I had a bit of a moment trying to locate this liquid, and I was really worried because I worked very hard to get the bait where it was.
And it happened so quickly, in the first 6 months, and we were like, oh my God. But it's how you deal with situations. There's no point stressing And Dan is so methodical in everything he does that he's always going to find something to match it in terms of the quality. And it's one of those things, that's life. These things do happen, and it's how you handle the situations rather than stressing.
It's like we've had a few ingredients go up in price. So obviously the pulse, there's, like you said, there's, like Zoe said, there's that many ingredients that go into it. When you look at pricing, it's not a cheap bait. It really isn't.
It's really not.
But I will not cut no corners on anything. That bait will stay the same.
We could make a cheap bait easily, but why would you?
I wouldn't do it because I'm going to fish with it myself. I'm fishing the baits that come out of that unit. I fish with it. There's no extra flavouring. There's no extra milk proteins or anything like that. It's exactly what the customer buys. I fish with exactly the same. So I won't cut no corners. There's no kind of corners cut. And even if an ingredient goes up, because I respect everybody that uses the bait, I'm not suddenly going to go, we've been going 2 years, this is what the price has been. Suddenly now we're going to go up to 13, 14 pound a kilo. No. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. There's not a chance.
No. See, the quality of the bait, obviously, we've spoken about the quality of the bait and everything else prior. Now, that to me is a premium bait. Yeah, that should be up there with the premium baits. And your prices are still very, very reasonable for
I think we're only
something that quality.
I think we're only lucky because our unit it still costs us money, but we haven't got massive outlays yet. So I think that's where we can drag a little bit of the profit from the bait. Am I right in saying that, would you say?
I'd say our outlays are really expensive.
The boss, there we go. There's the
Yeah, no, our outlays are expensive, but I think from a mainline or some of the big brands, when you see their YouTube videos and, everything they're doing, I think you're matching it to that.
Yeah, I'll probably compare it to something like that. We're very small, extremely small.
Yeah.
But I will not cut any corners, and even when we roll a bait, every time we do a roll, I always, when we've done the steaming, it's all dried out, I always get they're all separate ones.
Are we going to mention about the fact you make me eat the product?
Yeah, Zoe, Dan, you've got to eat the product, haven't you? All the lads chatting now, you've got to
try it.
Got to. But we also make sure that the breakdown on the bait is exactly the same. So if I get a bait out and I make sure that, obviously water temperature makes a massive difference of breakdown, as we know. But if the bait doesn't do what I want it to do, that bait goes to one side and I use it with baiting up or something like that. It's very rare that happens, but we quality control it quite well as well.
And then you've got the different seasons. So, the way the bait would dry in the summer compared to this winter, we were
it makes a massive deal. The drying at the minute is like 7 to 8 days drying at the minute because of obviously the dampness, and we've got our dry room now, which has saved us big time,
massively.
So, right, do you fancy taking some questions from the guys in the chat, shall we?
Yeah, go for it. Have I got to read it?
Guys, have you got any questions at all?
I'm sure someone's going to say something. I'm surprised Dan Cross is being quiet.
Yeah, he's quiet.
Here you go, Sean, best team member.
Oh, that's harsh. To be fair, I couldn't possibly pick. They're all good in their own right.
Yeah, they are.
They're all good.
Sean is our first team member, so he's from the very, very start, and we've got a lot of respect and love for him.
Sean actually was going to France, and I had a little chat to him, and he said, "Well, how about I take the bait to France?" I said, "Please do." So he put the faith in me to be able to go to France on this holiday that he gets once a year to take the bait, and what he went and caught was fun. And I think the lake uses its own bait. I think I think if Sean could put it on there now, they use their own bait there. So he's gone and used the one bait and he smashed it. And some all the other lads did.
His group of friends that he went with as well, and they all caught some big fish. Like Sean had a £50 grass carp.
He had 50. Yeah, quite a few.
But there was a lot of 50s.
I think the main thing is he had the confidence to take it. And did really well.
But Sean is the start of our little one bait family team. So
next one, what's the biggest catch so far on the bait?
So I'm just trying to think. I think UK It might be Dan Cross with the 45-pounder in January. It has done quite a few other 40-pounders, but I think that's the biggest one today.
Yeah.
In France, it's done 50-pounders, but yeah, in the UK, it's 45 pounds at the minute.
Yeah, 45 pounds something, 2 ounces.
I think it's done 5. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look. But yeah, 45 pounds the biggest at the minute.
Nice. Like I say, it's been great chatting with you guys, and it's Dan. Me and you will definitely stay in touch. There's no doubt about that. And I would love.
Anyway, haven't you? You've made some little plans.
Yes, some little plans, yes. I was going to say, guys, I'm looking in the next, I think it's 4 weeks, once I've got through this lot, I'm inviting everybody back, but on as a panel, where we actually thrash a few bits out here and there. It'll be like the Jeremy Kyle of the fishing world. Yeah, so guys, I'll send you information over for that and whatnot. But yeah, it'd be great to have everybody on a panel, thrash a few bit out, and it'll be a good old crack.
Well, like I say, if there's any young lads out there fishing, Dan, because I remember when I first started, I never had anyone to teach me how to do it all myself. If there's anybody that's struggling, please get in contact. My number's on. They can just Google us. My number's on there. I'm more happy to take anybody's phone calls and help them out.
Mate, like you say, you two are such a lovely couple. It's unreal. Talking to you, big smile. I can't wait to get away and have a go with these. And honestly, you guys have been amazing. This has been one of my favourites. I've got to be honest.
Oh, cheers, bud. Appreciate that.
And thank you for giving us a platform.
Yeah, no, thank you for offering us to do it. Yeah, it's been.
Yeah, like I say, there's a lot going forward. You guys will be on the website. Guys, my website is taking a little bit longer than expected, but it will be up and going. So you guys feature on the website and everything else, go up on YouTube, and then we'll work on a few things, and we'll look at that collab later on this year, I think.
Mate, I've already been looking. Mate. I've got my aquascope ready.
He's on it. He's on it.
It's mega. It's something else.
What will happen, Dan? I'll just tell Zoe I had a really bad roll. We just go down there with 50 kilos of bait.
I'm really hoping that the winner of this competition, this giveaway, isn't one of our team members.
If it is, then you can pass it back on.
Yeah.
Ash, sorry, it was William, was it? Yeah, William. So, William, if you could just send your details over to Dan and Zoe, I will then place an order with you guys to his address and pay the postage through that way as well. All right?
We don't have to, mate. We'll cover that.
No, don't be silly. Don't be silly. That's part of coming on the show, guys.
Well done, William. We'll get that. Just make sure you met whatever you want, 15 or 20 mils, mate, so we know what you want.
And then tell William quickly before we go about the pop-ups we're going to send, the exclusive ones.
Can't tell everybody that, can we?
No.
Gotta keep it a secret.
True.
Brilliant. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in, and thanks for this, Dan. It's been absolutely a breath of fresh air. It's been brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah, Dan, Zoe, it's been great to have you, and look forward to talking to you again very, very soon.
Brilliant.
Okay, guys. Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.